All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of American Baitworks Live. You know, we always have really cool guests, and this guest we have tonight, Jared Linter from California, is one of my favorite guys. Not only is he a tall guy like me, but he has a lot of the same kind of, skills and stuff as far as fishing goes. We like to fish the same, a lot of different ways, and him and I always have a great time when we're together here on American Baitworks Live. So, Jared, I want to welcome you. Are you getting ready? I got to hear this because we all know what's going on with the the COVID and all that stuff.
Yep.
Finally going fishing. We are going back fishing. Are you excited?
Yeah, man. I'm this whole deal here in California, at least, pretty much the whole state was shut down. Other than there's two little lakes that are run by the county, and they actually stayed open, but there was a limited amount of boats. So one of the lakes, 26 boats and trucks could go through the gate. And it's a fairly decent sized lake. So you were finding it was kind of a game, if somebody was on the freeway ahead of you, guess what? It's a race getting to the lake. Fish no tournaments in a long time. And when that's your job and that's what you do, it's kind of like you go through these withdrawals. And I'm super pumped about, the start of the Bass Pro Tour again. And then even to kick it off with the heavy hitters, which is a whole nother deal. I mean, somebody's going to win a bunch of money catching big bass, and we all know the Toho Kissimmee chain has them. So I'm excited about that. I actually, this past weekend, I went up to Clear Lake. I know it's nothing like your guys' Florida stuff, but the grass, since all this stuff, it's the only kind of silver lining is they haven't sprayed anything. So I mean, there's grass out in the middle of the lake like it hasn't been in like 20 years, I'd say.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I went up there and I got to, fish grass again like we used to back in the day, and kind of I was like, well, this is kind of a good maybe warm up for getting that back to Florida and caught some real big ones. So I hope the momentum carries. But man, I'm ready to go fishing, despite the 43 hours of windshield time I have. You live 5 minutes from the lake. I live, I don't even know how many hours. I plug it in my GPS. Well, I used to. I don't plug anything in anymore, like the first trip, because I get so depressed. Like, it's like, I remember when I used to plug it in, it'd be like 2,862 miles, and it wouldn't even calculate hours. It'd just say 2 days.
Right.
I'm like, 2 days? What does that mean? 48 hours? I don't even know. So I don't even do it till I get like
within reasonable range.
Yeah, at least where I don't know where I'm going anymore. But yeah, no, that's the only bummer part about it. But the fishing will be worth it.
So this is something I got a million questions I want to ask you already. Mine's going 500 miles an hour, but that's pretty typical for me because I'm a weirdo. One thing, so you normally, and I got a lot of buddies like you out on the West Coast, and I talk to fairly often. So typically, once the season starts, you guys will drive out east once and leave your stuff out there, and then fly back and forth pretty much till the season wraps up, and whatever it is, August or September, whatever it is. So when all this coronavirus, whatever it is, started, you guys, I can see that you have the exact same feelings about it as I do, but we're not going to get into that.
No.
You guys, a lot of you guys went ahead and drove home instead of leaving your boats in Texas, because that was our last event there on Lake Fork, Texas, which is a pretty awesome tournament. Like there were some giants caught in that one.
Huge ones.
A lot of you guys from the West Coast, you kind of took your stuff and went home, and now we're fired up. We're going back to work, and you guys, instead of taking a 2-hour flight back to Texas.
Well, so interesting story about that. So I stayed at a little house rental over there in Quitman, Texas, and I actually called some people that I trusted, Major League Fishing. I'm like, hey man, California, we're hearing all these things that might be closing the border. There's all this is right when it first started, right? And they're like, hey, we're going to continue on as, we're going to monitor it, but I would plan on fishing North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I said, well, shoot. So anyway, to make a long story short, I left my boat and truck in Texas, got on a plane, flew home, and we flew out of Fort Worth, me and my wife. And driving to the airport, this was on a Wednesday afternoon or something like that. There was nobody in town. I'm like, this is weird, man. Get on the plane, and we disinfected everything, and flew home. And then I'm like, we ain't fishing for a while. I kept thinking that. And then we finally had that call, and they said, hey, we're going to have to postpone. So I got a car rental, and because I was afraid to get on a plane at that point, I got a car rental right here in my hometown. And I started driving to Texas to get my boat and truck because, like I said, my 2 lakes were still open, but I don't have a boat or my tackle or anything. So on the way, I was talking to Roy Hawk. He's like, dude, my boat and truck's the same place. Pick me up. So we road trip, drove straight to Texas, dropped the rental car off, got in our vehicles. He went to Arizona, and I came home.
Yeah, I think I saw something on y'all's Facebook about that. Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I think I saw a little bit about that. I was kind of following your journey there, and that was an interesting scenario. One of the things I found when I left, calling the event, out in Tulsa, because that's where Major League Fishing Studios are now. They're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So when I left out there, it's kind of funny, in my opinion. It was kind of when all this stuff was really kind of starting, and people had already quit traveling, but I had to fly home. I honestly never felt more safe.
Yeah.
From any kind of disease while I was in the airport and on the plane, because there was people everywhere wiping down everything. Like, there wasn't hardly anybody in the airport, wasn't hardly anybody on the plane. Like, my flight, I actually got home earlier than I was supposed to because my flights kept getting canceled and changed around and whatever. So it was cool to see that how the airlines, whether it's Delta or American or whatever, how those airlines were really doing everything they could. And we're going back to work. I'm going to be flying next week. I have no reservations at all. Like, when I saw what was going on when this first started, I can't imagine how clean and sanitized and everything is now. So, like, I have no problem traveling. I think,
Yeah. Same thing.
Do your social distancing thing and whatever. Be careful, and everything will be fine.
We went to Costco and put our face mask on like you're supposed to, and we got those gloves that I'm going to carry with me for stopping at the gas stations. And I mean, you just be smart about it, and there's not a problem, I don't think. But that's not the issue. The issue is, like you said, it's one time a year, and you're excited. Man, you had all fall, you had winter, and you're ready to get the season started. So it's not that bad driving to Florida for the first event, but now we're restarting. I've already been there, done that once this year. What?
Yeah, do it all over again.
Doubling down, man. I'm like, dude, come on. So, yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, if I'm like Bobby Lane, I look like the smartest person in the world because it's 10 minutes from my house.
I don't even think it's that far.
Yeah, probably not. Doesn't he have a camp or something down there?
I've stayed at it many, many times. Yeah, not much in the last couple of years, but I've stayed at it a lot. It's it's on the water.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you realize this, but between Bobby and I, there may or may not have been quite a few cold pops drank at that camp before.
No, not you guys. Not at all. My question is when you guys are staying down there, how are you sure you're going back to the right cabin? In other words, you might just end up at some other abandoned place and be like, yeah, this is home for the week. All right, cool.
No, the fun doesn't start till we get to the cabin. Well, no, I mean, fishing on Lake Kissimmee obviously is fun, but the extracurricular beer drinking activities don't start till we get to the cabin. Now, once we're at the cabin and the cooler opens up and the fire pit gets lit and the grill gets lit, it's no holds barred after that. But yeah,
I can't imagine.
We get back to the cabin, but so a couple of little things before we really get talking. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We've already started diving into it. Anytime Jared and I get together, we just have a good time, start talking about stuff. We are going to have another American Baitworks prize pack tonight. Going to be a lot of freedom stuff. You can see Jared and I both have a freedom. It's almost like we planned it. We both have a freedom T-shirt on. We're going to talk a lot this evening, probably about a lot of weird stuff like we normally do, but we're also going to talk a lot about freedom swing head technology. The prize pack tonight is going to have all kinds of freedom stuff in it. You're going to know by the end of this, you're going to know so much about swing head technology that you're going to have to listen to Metallica because you're just swing head all the time. So, but anyway, Metallica is my favorite band of all time. Just so anybody didn't know that. But as far as the prize pack goes tonight, be all kind of freedom stuff. It won't all be swing head stuff. Freedom's got some other stuff too, some really cool stuff, and we might talk about that later on as well. You're going to get a Halo XD3 rod. You're going to get probably maybe a shirt, hat, maybe some decals. Like I said, be a lot of freedom stuff, and you never know. There might be a new Scum Frog, Launch Frog thrown in there, maybe not. You never know. But anyway, but if you're an American Baitworks Pro Staff guy, you cannot win. You cannot win. If you're American Baitworks Pro Staff, you can't win. You're already a winner because you're on American Baitworks Pro Staff. And the other thing, too, nobody start guessing when we do the prize pack thing. Nobody start guessing what the right answer is until Jared. I actually did it 2 nights ago. I did the 2 truths and a lie, but tonight Jared's going to do it. Nobody guess until he at least gets through saying the 3rd thing, and then you can start guessing. So, but
wait a minute. I'm doing the questions?
No. I'm going to ask you. Last night or 2 nights ago, the guest did do the questions. And I actually told the 2 truths and a lie, but we're going to do the same way we did last time with you. But we've had a lot of comments, and we got a ton of people watching already tonight. We got a lot of comments, but here's the first one. Brian says JT's happier than Elton John. Holy crap! Yes, I am very happy. That's right. Here's Quentin says, "What's up, guys? You know, we got a bunch of guys in here just carrying on." How about this one? Does Lintner complain about what time he has to log in for this show too?
No, because it's not 5 a.m. It's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock in California, not 5 o'clock a.m. And here's the other thing about Kent, JT. So you know, if your name starts with Skeet, then you can pre-record it because the man does not do interviews before 9 a.m.
It's just not happening. And now is that 9 a.m. Is that 9 a.m. Pacific?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywhere, anytime.
It doesn't matter the time zone. It's not happening before 9 a.m.
Nope. So Kent Brown will appease the king and pre-record the show for him, but not for me. Not for me.
Tim Robinson said, "What's up, guys? You know it, Tim. We're just having us a big time." See what else we got on here. Patrick said, "Tight lines," but I don't know where it went there.
I gotta get it.
Lines Brothers, my bass pick, 8 pounds from Lake Kissimmee. We like seeing 8-pounders from Lake Kissimmee, but put any kind of about what's going on at Lake Kissimmee, you can tell me whatever you want in a PM. Personal message, but don't tell Jared anything because Jared
no, we didn't talk about that
for that because thank goodness we are actually starting fishing again soon. So we are jacked up about that. We got Reggie. He said Reggie said his Pro Staff app is submitted. Well, I don't know if you can still win then, Reggie. If you're not actually on the Pro Staff yet, you may be able to still win tonight. Corey Jackson says, "What's up, Palm Bay?" That's right where I am. Everybody from Palm Bay, I know. Everybody around Florida and basically the country is freaking jacked right now because, Jared, I don't know if last time I had you on, if you and I talked about this or not, but they're fixing to open right here in Palm Bay. It's going to be the best. Like, literally, it's going to be one of the best bass lakes. It was created like 7 years ago, and they basically built a big dike around this giant swamp that already had a bunch of bass in it and everything, and they've stocked it like crazy. And
have you been there?
The kayakers have been on it. It's going to be just south of Palm Bay. It's right beside the Stick Marsh, and it's supposedly It's going to open on June 6th. They're going to start letting the kayakers have been allowed to fish like the top, I don't know, 4,000 acres of it or something. And they've been freaking killing them. Like last fall, somebody caught a 13. Christine Fisher, that's that big YouTube girl, she caught two 11s in 10 minutes like 2 months ago on it. There was a guy 2 Saturdays ago. This is all kayak stuff, no motor stuff, no anything. There was a guy 2 Saturdays ago caught 3 over 10 in one day. Like this place is going to be absolutely fun. They stocked over a 3-year period. They stocked 1 million F1 bass.
Jeez, so, how big is the place?
It's about the size of Toho.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I don't know the exact acreage. Yeah. If you look at it on satellite image and kind of, I kind of know where the dike is, you know, as it goes around, and you can kind of, it's about the size of Toho. So it's a big lake. And the cool thing about it is it's not just fishing around the bank. The entire thing is like they made it for bass fishing. There's humps and ridges and, you know, all kinds of stuff. It's absolutely full of hydrilla. The kayak guys, I haven't actually been on it. I fished it from the bank, and it was really good from the bank. I caught a 7 and a 5 off the bank. Like, so it was, it's going to be really good. But everybody in Palm Bay here, and like I said, everybody around is jacked up. It's the name of it's going to be called Headwaters Lake. And as a matter of fact, our buddy Lenny had Lenny on a few shows ago, and he said, "Sign me up for Headwaters," but absolutely signed everybody up. So, and then Ken says 4,000 acres. He said his local lake is 950 acres. Yeah, Ken, that's just, the 4,000 acres is just where the kayaks have been allowed to go. There's a huge lake, you know, all down to the south of it. So it's gonna be absolutely awesome. Frank says, "Hey JT, take a fellow ABW pro staffer out there one day." Trust me, I'm pretty sure that's yeah. Well, so Jared, so check this out. Here's the thing. On y'all's off days, it's like 60, 70-minute drive. Like, so on your guys' off days, it's supposed to open June 6th. So that's the day, that's your guys' last day of practice. Yeah. And it's the day I have to fly out. So I'm going to miss the ribbon cutting and all that stuff. But that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, if it actually opens on June 6th, man, you guys off days, like how often do you get a chance to fish a brand new lake? It's been flooded. Now it's been a marsh with fish in it forever, but it's been flooded up to the level it is now. They built a dike around it. It's been flooded up to the level it is now for 7 years. And there's only been people allowed to fish like the top 20% of it. The whole rest of the lake,
wow,
fish it, and it's had 1 million F1 strain largemouth stocked in it. Like, so it's going to be amazing. And if you, I mean, I know you wouldn't drive all the way from California to do it, but if you're in town and it's only a 60 or 70-minute drive to get there, like, well, I know I'm going to be commentating the MLF event, and you guys are going to be sending me pictures from my house, from my lake that I haven't been allowed to fish. It's right around the corner.
For sure.
I'm going to be Jones and bad.
My son and Carrie is actually coming with me. So, and he's kind of got into fishing pretty hard here the last couple months. And so he was, you know, I brought packed his stuff, and I wanted to ask you though, so we might go do that, but he was like, well, we're staying over there by East Lake Toho. And he's like, yeah, I'll just walk around off the bank. And I'm like, dude, I don't know about the alligators there. So how do you mentioned earlier you were fishing off the bank. What do you kind of, you just kind of be careful or what? I mean,
yeah, this time of year, actually they're mating. So it's kind of cool because that's when they are aggressive, but they'll growl at you now instead of like when it's cold out, like you can walk right up on top of them and step on them before you know they're there and they know you're there. But in mating season, even though they're more aggressive, like I said, they'll do like a, you know, like and then you'll be like, don't need to walk that way anymore. I think I'll go that way. You know what I mean? Like,
they'll let you know.
Yeah, they'll let you know. It's almost like a rattlesnake. You know what I mean? Like you get, you know, a rattlesnake when it's freezing cold out, you can step on him and you'll never know it.
Right.
But when it's warm out, you get within 15 feet of him and he's it's just, it's with the gators down here in this time of year, it's exactly the same thing. So I wouldn't worry too much about those.
Wow.
But yeah, I can drop you a pin or something and show you where that. You can walk the bank on that other lake. You can walk the levee on that new lake and fish the bank too. So
Okay.
yeah,
I'm gonna write that down on my paper here.
absolutely. So let's talk about, since we've already got completely sidetracked, but that's how I roll. That's the name of the game. But let's talk a little bit. There's probably no other pro out there on the circuit that knows Freedom and knows the products and specifically the swing head technology other than the guy that has his picture. The guy that actually has his picture on this. This is the Freedom Hydra right here. It's actually the Jared Linter Pro Series. Laser Eagle Claw hook in that one. But give us a little bit of a look at here. Give us a little bit of a breakdown, and I'm pretty familiar with the Freedom brand, but maybe a lot of the people that are watching right now might not be. So break us down a little bit, in your opinion, some of the good stuff, some of the attributes, and I can tell you, I know you're going to talk about this, but it's one of the coolest. I think is one of the coolest things is not only the extra action and the swing head technology and all that stuff, but just being able to change your hook is a big deal to me.
100%. So a little backstory. I don't know. It was probably 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5. Anyway, back where we live here, we don't have big lakes, and the fish do the same thing as they do in the Midwest or central part of the country. When post spawn, they get on ledges. Well, there's only so many ledges and so many. I mean, I'm talking less than a mile's worth on the whole lake. And which seems like a lot, but there's, just like anywhere, there's key spots.
Oh yeah.
So you're always looking for the next best thing, whether it's a crankbait, a big worm, a whatever, swim baits and all these things. And because those fish get out there and they just get pressured, drop shots, Carolina rig. I mean, it's that way all the time. So I was in Tackle Warehouse one of these times, and I seen, actually, it was the Hydra head. So this is, like we said, this is my signature one, but they just had a Hydra head. And I think I picked up like a white one. And I'm like, man, this is cool, because at that time, that's when Tommy Biffle had the Biffle hard head or something like that. And I was like, I like that way that's pointed, because, in the summer when those fish get post spawn, you catch a lot of them on shad or gizzard shad imitations, or even in California, sometimes trout, smelt, whatever it is. And so you want something that imitates a bait fish more. So I grabbed a couple. I think I grabbed a pack or two, a 3/4, and a pack or 2 or 1 ounce, because we were fishing out in like 35 to 45.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't even know that you could take off the hook at that point. And that's been the challenge with Freedom Tackle, is to really educate the consumer and the anglers on how cool that is, what you talked about. So, with a lot of your swing heads, whatever hook is on there is on there. Well, with this, so I got one right here. With that, you just unscrew that hook that comes with it, which is a nice hook. It's a laser sharp trocar. It's a little 4/0, so that's perfect for like several different things. But at this particular lake I was talking about, I was like, man, I want to throw a big bait. And so I had some trocar, and this is the actual deal right here. I had some trocar 7/0. And what I did at the time, my boat and truck were back east. So I really didn't have a lot of tackle around. And I had these old, I know you know what these are, big Magnum flukes, right?
Oh yeah.
So I don't have a 3/4 and a 1 ounce with me. I'm already packed up. But I put that Magnum fluke on there with that Hydra head, and just like that. Okay.
Yep.
And absolutely smashed them. We won the tournament, I think, by 13 pounds.
Damn, nice.
Yeah, and what it was it's just like fishing a ledge at Kentucky Lake. I was trying to hit those little rock piles out there. There were some few pieces of wood here and there, but when that bait hit whatever cover it was, it would do just what you said. It would, you'd pop it and that bait would go this way and this way. And I mean, we blew that term out, me and my buddy Nick. And I'm like, holy crap, dude, what just happened? And like people around us caught a few and we got accused of cheating. They're like, dude, we mopped them. Like they'd never seen it before. And so then right away, I'm like, dude, what other stuff do they make, And then back then, I think they had the stealth head, and now we got my custom colored stealth heads. But that's really kind of what started it for me. And then what I've experienced since then is there's nothing you can't really do with the Freedom Tackle line. Like you said, with changing the hooks, it opens up a wide variety. So, again, let me put this on here so I can talk about it better, actually.
That's one of the things while you're doing that. It opens up something. It's like you buy, whether it's the Hydra head, whatever it is. When you buy something, it's not when you decide you need a smaller bait or a bigger bait, but you want the same weight head. You don't have to go buy another bait. You just go buy another hook.
That's it.
And you change it. You can if you so many fishermen have their things where I like this or I like that. And let's all admit it's probably just a confidence thing. But say a guy is just, I use Trocar hooks and that's all I'm using. Hey man, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. That one that you're doing right there comes with an eagle claw hook.
Yep.
Take it off. Put your Trocar on it. You know what I mean? Like it gives you the ability to do that.
100%. You hit the nail on the head. Just, once you get it figured out, you just twist off the hook. But what I was going to say is, so now that I got it rigged up right, I didn't want to take the time before. But so just with this, with this Hydra, for example, and again, these are, some custom colors I have. There it is right there, rigged up like that. Okay, now if you didn't want to throw that big of a bait with that big of a hook, right, you might be stuck with it if you didn't have, or, if you're throwing something else besides the Freedom. Now, so last winter, I was at my little lake, Nascimento, a bunch of spotted bass and stuff, and smaller swim baits and stuff like that. Well, I took the same head, different colors, whatever you want, and I put on, right here, I just put on an eagle claw laser sharp hook, whoops, shoot, I lost it. Little straight shank finesse.
I've been there.
Little straight shank finesse. And now what you can do, I blistered them on this, is I expose the hook, and it's got the keeper on there. I expose the hook, and now you got that.
Yeah. So,
and like you said, it comes with a 4/0 EWG style. So if you want to fish a 3.8 or 4-inch swim bait or a creature bait or whatever, it's kind of unlimited to what you can do. And that's where I think, people need to be more imaginative on the water. Like, just because it's not built and sitting in your tackle box like a crankbait,
right,
and it's ready to throw, doesn't mean that you can't go, hey man, if I had that swim bait head, but it had a 3/0 extra wide gap hook and whatever, and this bait on it, I'd probably catch him. All you got to have is the head. Now you can do whatever you want.
Let me tell you the story of the day that I got the international symbol for mind blown with the Freedom stuff. Was I was catching them on, and so I know you know this, but let me go through the whole story just so everybody that's listening. There might be somebody out there that doesn't know that. So when they first get offshore, they typically go to like the rough spots, the rocks, the little bit of rocky stuff. And as the summer wears on, they typically will move to like stumps or brush piles or stuff like that. So it was in the middle of the summer. And I already kind of was on the Freedom gig, you know what I mean? Like I kind of knew, and so I was throwing a swim bait, throwing it on the EWG hook. As a matter of fact, it was the Eagle Claw, just like the one that you were showing right there.
Right.
Because I was fishing the brush piles and the stumps out on the ledges. Okay. And I knew those fish were there, and I just wasn't getting bit. So for whatever reason, and it was late summer, okay, but for whatever reason, I went and graphed some areas that are typically like late May, June type stuff. That is that more what I'll call bald places.
Right.
You know, it just might be shells or just rough spots or whatever. Went out there and look there, dot, 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 a couple fish where, where they were a month and a half ago, not where they're supposed to be now. So I fire the same one I'm throwing, the same hydra head I'm throwing, same swim bait on it, but it's got the EWG hook on it because I was dragging it through brush piles like I had been catching them. So, but they're out there on that bald stuff again. So and I miss one, and I'm like, dang it, and I fire out there again, miss another one. I miss like 3 on that spot. I'm like, all right, well, so I got something to look for, right? So I start moving around, get another bald spot, I'll call a May, June spot, not a July, August spot. Same thing. Fire, I mark a couple dots, on my unit. There, and miss him. And I'm like, damn. And then I went, why am I throwing a bait rigged weedless when I'm on a bald spot? There's nothing to get hung up on. Yep. Why am I doing this? So I sat down, dude. I didn't even have to cut my knot. I didn't even do that. I just zoop, took that EWG off, threw it over my shoulder. I grabbed a straight shank hook, took the swim bait off the EWG, the same hook, the same bait. Took it off the EWG. I rigged it up on the straight shank hook with the hook sticking out of the back of it, exposed hook.
Just like that.
Just like that, dude. Exactly like that. Fired it out there and went to jack pulling their heads. Yep. Like I didn't even retie my knot. Like it was that easy to adjust. I'm a little hard-headed, so it took me 4 or 5 missed fish before I actually get it. But yeah, and that's when I was like, it's not just the swing technology. It's not just the extra action that gives you. It's not just the one of the big things that I like about the swing technology, and I know you do too, but I'm going to bring it up, is when a fish comes up and jumps, okay, it doesn't have as much leverage because the hook and the head are swinging, aka the swing technology. The hook and the head are swinging, so it doesn't have as much leverage. So when it comes, that bass comes up and does his normal, it doesn't give him as much leverage to be able to throw it because it's not a fixed thing. So, and there's a lot of times when you do want it fixed. I'm not going to say there's no place for a fixed jig, or not. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there are times when the swing technology is better, and to have the ability to be able to do that, and to be able, the fish can't throw it as easy. You can change the hooks. It's just there's a lot of good stuff about it.
Yeah, we're talking about wanting to hit structure and stuff, but much like that bald spot you were fishing on that ledge. So this is that bait I was telling you that I rigged up and open hook style. I don't know if you could see that good, but even with like spotted bass. So we have some spotted bass lakes here, and the big thing across the country is to throw like a little, anywhere from a 2.8 to a 4.3 swim bait. Doesn't matter. I throw rhythm waves. I'm sure Kitex. I don't know if net bait or somebody has one. But I mean, that's a big thing. Everybody's throwing a little swim bait on a ball head, a fixed jig head, you name the size. You can do the same thing with this, even though you're not bumping, you're not deflecting it off a rock or whatever. So you don't have, that whole deal. But now when you pause your rod, when if you're just straight winding it, a spotted bass will follow. When you pause your rod, so that head's going to want to fall, but that bait's going to kick up. So it's going to do something different than it would with a fixed head. So even though you're not making bottom contact and you're getting that bait to deflect off something and to turn like that, you can fish it very effectively in open water and and just with the change of your hook. And here's the big thing I hate about ball heads. For me, because I like throwing big hooks all the time, even for spotted bass. Like I would put on a 3-aught. That's a 2-aught. This is just what I had here in my counter. But I want a bigger hook. Mm-hmm. So with this right here, I could be like, dude, I'm around a little bit better class of spotted bass. I'm going to upgrade my hook or stop the hook, whatever.
Let me ask you on that hook deal. Now, when you say, and I'm talking about specifically spotted bass, mm-hmm. You say I want a bigger hook. Do you mean I want a bigger gap, or do you want a bigger actual wire diameter?
I like a medium wire for spots. Right. But I like that bend. I don't know if you could. Let me see if I could. I don't even know where the camera's at.
Yeah.
See how that bend has kind of got that O'Shaughnessy bend in it?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, those spotted bass, when they get locked in there, it's over.
Right.
And not to turn this into a Trocar commercial or whatever, but I know that they're going to come out with that Pro V bend that they make right now on like the flipping stuff. And if they make that in a lighter wire, like a medium gauge hook, that would be the deal for throwing a bait like that. You go to the tackle warehouse or wherever, and the main players that sell these ball heads, in my opinion, all have too small of hooks. I don't know. I'm not Aaron Martins and throw like 4-pound line out there for spotted bass. I'll throw like 15, 17, something like that. And I feel like I catch just as many. So,
right. You talking about that, and I don't want to get into a whole big hook thing either. You talking about that Pro V, dude, that is my flip. And I love to flip. I mean, I love to just catch fish. I don't even just love bass. I love everything. Sunday we're going tuna and wahoo fishing. I love catch. But anyway, that Pro V hook, that is the one that I go to for flipping, especially punching the big weight stuff. So
keep going. I just wanted to show people what we're talking about if they haven't seen it. I had a pack right here. So, and this works, okay, so with these stealth heads, right, with the Freedom Tackle stealth head, same deal, change the hook. These work really well for a trailer on the stealth, as well as their football head jig, several things. But there is that Pro V bend that we're talking about. And that sucker right there, that little deal right there, once you get it past their lips and they get locked in there with that bigger barb, I promise you ain't losing them. You might break one off if you don't retire or something, but I've had very, very few fish come off on that Pro V. So I'm coming out soon.
I landed my personal best, the biggest bass I've ever caught in my life. And luckily, it was on my show. It was on the fishing show with JT Kenny, which you can watch on motv.com. Just it's been a couple of months ago now, but it's live on MOTV. Ish Monroe and I, another California guy, Ish Monroe and I were out on a lake right here in Palm Bay, well, just west of Palm Bay, called Kenansville, and I caught a 12-pounder. Well, it was 11-14. That's 12 pounds to me, man. That's
a good one. That's a good one.
I caught it on that hook. And one other thing that hook does, and we're going to get off this hook subject in a minute, but I think this is really important for when you're punching mats and stuff. Mm-hmm. Hook, not only does it stab them in the face and they're locked, it makes a narrower package when you're punching.
Yes.
You don't have a great big gap sticking out of the back of it. So you're more efficient. Your bait falls down in those mats more efficiently. The more drops you get, the more bites you're going to get. So,
right. I mean, you can see it right here. So there's a 4-aught OV, and then there's an EWG. So exactly what you're talking about. You put that together side by side.
Put it inside of it.
And look how much different that EWG, if you were to punch a EWG, which I don't recommend. But,
it's a big difference. It's a huge difference. So let's hit some of these comments real quick. Bass Wives and Family says, happy Thursday. Thanks, guys. We appreciate that. Here's email says, I can't wait to go. It's killing me. Cool story about this guy. I met this guy on Three Forks Marsh, Lake Lawton. I don't know. It's been a few weeks back or maybe a month. I don't remember exactly, but he's a cool dude. He's from Georgia. He comes down here to the Palm Bay area, goes fishing. And we sat out there and we jaw jacked and talked for, whatever. I don't know how long, but he was a cool dude. So thanks for watching, email. We appreciate that. Paul says, where are the sticker boats going to park? There's only 30. Okay, so he says, where are the sticker boats going to park? There's only 32 parking spots. He's talking about the Headwaters Lake, Jared, that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, they built a new boat ramp, and they did really only build 32 parking places. But there's going to be – you're not allowed to park on Fellsmere Grade Road, but there's a big grassy area across the street. I don't recommend parking there this time of year if you don't have four-wheel drive because that deal where, we're getting those afternoon thunderstorms. I know, Jared, you might not be – this isn't giving you any information about Kissimmee. This is just Florida in general. From about now till September, October, it pretty much rains every afternoon really hard for like 20 minutes. So,
just enough to cool you off, though. That's nice.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It is just enough to cool you off. That's so true. And it's so funny because I live over here on the coast. I only live a few miles from the coast. It's so much milder here. Like where you guys are going to be over in Kissimmee, like in the center of the state, it's hot.
Yeah.
You guys are going to catch them, and you're going to catch some big ones. But I'm not going to lie to you, cuz you're going to sweat.
So this morning, I did a Major League Fishing overflow, and Bobby Lane and Casey Ashley were on there, and I was like, "Hey, Bob, so how's the weather down there, buddy?" He's like, "Lintner, it's friggin' hot, man." I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Dude, last night at my house, it was like, what do you say, 96 at 10:30 at night," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude," he's like, "get ready." He's like, "I'd bring your foul weather gear for sure, and make sure you got long socks." And I'm like, "Whatever, dude." He was just saying it's hot.
You got to understand, it's so humid down here that if it's 96, it would be unbearable. Like I said, I live on the coast. You get that sea breeze about 10 o'clock. It's way more, to me, it's way more tolerable here on the coast in Palm Bay and then these lakes around here than it is when you get in the middle of the state. Here's another buddy of mine, Sean. Matter of fact, I just talked to Sean on the phone today. He said, "Don't worry about the gators. Watch out for the snakes." He's probably right on that one.
Dude, I am petrified of snakes.
Yeah, there's a few down here. Tony hits us and says, "I'm actually frogging right now in a tournament and got you playing on the bow." Cool. We love it.
Is Tony catching them? Oh, I shouldn't even ask that. I don't know where he's fishing. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's probably not on Kissimmee. We don't know. But if it's not on Kissimmee, Tony, tell us. Hit us back. Tell us what's going on. Hey, JT, is Lake Champlain going down as of now? I have no idea, but I bet you they are biting on Champlain. That's all I have to know.
I think he means, are we having an event there?
Oh, yes. Absolutely, we're having an event. We're going out of the
Burlington
side.
Burlington. Yep.
New York side, which typically we always go out of Plattsburgh. We are going out of the Vermont side, which actually – we had a select event up there 2 years ago, and we went out of Burlington, Vermont that time too. So I misspoke there a little bit. I'm talking about the FLW events and the other events. We usually would go out of Plattsburgh, but yeah, we're going out of the Vermont side. We've got Brian Stockel. If nobody knows who he is a dude that married way up. His wife is way hotter than he is. And he is BTC Brian the Carpenter from the Ike Live show, which we are all buddies with the Ike Live show. We all go back and forth. So, Brian, I'm glad you're watching. Says JT, you only drink light beer. Can you elaborate on this?
I'd like to hear this.
Brian, that is what is in the JT Kenny cup. Yes, and it is not only is it just light beer, but it is Miller Light beer, which actually is just called light. So that's kind of a whole thing that ties right into what you're talking about there. Corey says daily thunderstorms and then fish on. I will say that you guys, so I think you guys we're going to start really early in the MLF heavy hitters event, and we're going to end a little early. So you may not catch most of those thunderstorms are later in the afternoon. Unfortunately, a lot of those thunderstorms around Central Florida here in this time of year, there is some lightning involved in them, and we know that's not, we don't want to be out there on the water when that lightning's involved. Nobody does. Probably, hopefully, going to get you guys off the water before the afternoon craziness starts. So,
yeah, I think the hours are 7 to 3.
Okay.
7 lines out 3, and like you said, thunder or lightning there. As far as I know, I think there's one bridge on the chain.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not. No, it's not. It's not good.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, it's not. It's not good. Ken says, so do you keep one rod ready for the rainy period when you were there? I usually end up, by the time it rains, it's so late in the day, I got all my halos on the deck anyway. So who knows? By that time, whether I'm doing good or not, somehow I'll start with like 3 rods and I got them all out by then. Mm-hmm. Frank says, I'm from Wisconsin, been catching lots of nice bedfish on the Marabou swing from Freedom. Actually won 2 tournaments on it. That is awesome. And he is talking about that guy right there. That is a little black Marabou jig, and it's really neat. There's some pretty interesting things about that. Those little black jigs are something that they throw up north a lot for smallmouth. And I don't know if Frank's talking about catching largemouth or smallmouth on it. But another interesting thing, Jared, was that you telling me that you took that and actually put it on a drop shot and just used the back half, took the hook off of it?
Yeah.
The back up. That was so cool. When you said that, I was, because I'm fishing. Hey, I'm fishing the Northern Toyota Series this year.
Oh.
And as soon as you said that, I was like,
dude,
yeah.
Think about it. Think about the way that Marabou is going to move in the water and stuff. And I mean, they've seen every kind of goby imitation, little, drop shot imitation. That little hair sitting there, I think you might win. I might put you on my fantasy team.
Nice. Let's see. We got Tony here. He said Winyah Bay, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. That must be where he's watching from. I love South Carolina. I've not only had some good saltwater times there, but I've had a lot of good freshwater times, especially on Santee Cooper.
He's the one throwing the frog.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, Winyah Bay. Yeah, Tony. Nice. Cool deal, Tony. We hope you jack them straight in their faces tonight.
Yes.
And if you're done by the time we're done doing this thing, which we got about 13, 15 minutes left. Tell us that you won. We want to hear it. So Lenny said MLF still scheduled for Thousand Islands. I don't think so. Nope. But what I do think, the FLW title event, which is the FLW Championship, they are still scheduled sometime in August. I don't have my paperwork right. I don't have anything in front of me but a beer, and some Freedom stuff. But they are still scheduled, as far as I know, for their championship event, which is now called the FLW title event. They're still scheduled for Thousand Islands in August. So Ken says, Lenny, are you the guy that fishes Renegade? I can answer that. Yes, Lenny is the guy that fishes Renegade. Nick says, sup, fellas? Love MLF, BPF. Good work. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate that very much. Matt says, hey, guys from Raleigh. Hey, Matt, what's up, buddy? I think that we may be next year, maybe, who knows, we might be going to come back to that area. I nobody told me that, but I'm just guessing, since we missed that event this year, I would assume we're probably going to make it up. Like, I don't know that for sure, but I would think we probably would. And once again, that's not me speaking for MLF. That's just me just guessing, but yeah, I would think we actually probably would. So we got about 10 minutes left. I want to remind everybody, we're going to do 2 truths and a lie again with Jared. We did this one time with him about a month and a half or so ago. We're going to do it again tonight. What's going to happen with this contest, we're going to give away an awesome American Baitworks prize pack. It's going to be pretty much dominated with Freedom Tackle, swing head technology stuff. But we're also going to have, there's going to be a Halo XD3 rod in there. I don't know exactly which one it's going to be as far as the actual model. It would be Halo XD3 rod. You're going to get some maybe a hat, maybe a T-shirt. You get a bunch of Freedom technology stuff, and maybe Freedom makes a lot of other stuff too. Probably get some other stuff in there from Freedom. Maybe even get one of those awesome Scum Frog launch frogs. I don't know exactly what's going to be in there, but it's going to be awesome. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. Like I said, T-shirt, everything. What you want to do if you win, you want to whichever site you're watching from, whether you're watching from Halo, whether you're watching from Freedom, Set the Hook, NetBait, or my site, what you want to do is just send a PM with your address, your shirt size, and your phone number. We need your phone number because for shipping stuff, we need your phone number. So anyway, so just put your shirt size, address, phone number, PM, whichever site you're watching from, and we will absolutely get you your prize pack. So we got a couple of more.
I got one thing.
Let me get this one real quick. Here's it's a buddy of mine, Ned, he's from right here around Palm Bay. He says, how about a championship round on the new Fellsmere Reservoir, and what inside date on the ramp opening, asking for a friend? So honestly, dude, I don't have an inside date. I heard June 6th. I don't know if that's factual. I do know that the ramp has been inspected by the state inspectors. It passed. They put a bunch of signage up out on the lake. I don't know. The only thing I know is that the executive director of the St. Johns River Water Management District basically just has to say, okay, open it up. There's a bunch of rumors going around about they're going to let the MLF guys on it before they open it up and all that. I can tell you for a fact that's not true. That's not happening. I would love to see the championship round from our heavy hitters event next week on Headwaters. He's calling it Fellsmere Reservoir here. The official name of it's going to be Headwaters Lake. It's not going to happen as far as that. I wish I really knew. So Jared, you were going to say something?
Oh yeah, no. Along with your giveaway, American Bait Works is going to give away, not give away, a 15% discount code if you go to their website for all American Bait Works stuff, including Freedom Tackle. But the code is, you want me to tell them the code or what you enter? It's just Lintner, so LINTNER -ABW, all caps.
Yep, all caps. So that's Lintner -ABW. That'll get you, and that works for Freedom. It works for Halo, works for Set the Hook, it works for Scum Frog, works for Snag Proof. I mean, anything under the American Bait Works umbrella, this deal is going to work. And all you have to do is go to the AmericanBaitWorks.com, go to the American Bait Works site. You can put in Lintner -ABW, all caps. You can use my name too, Kenny, Kenney. You can put all caps in there. That is the new painted series trophy frog, and I think is that leopard, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, dude. So Frank, a guy that works for Scum Frog, gave these to me.
Oh yeah,
that's what you were saying. The launcher. I don't know what, because he gave them to me just like this, so I didn't even know the name or anything.
Right. No, that one is I think that's the Pro Series. The other one was the printed trophy series. The Launch Frog, don't even get me started.
I'm serious because I don't even know what it is. See, he gave me 4 of them. So look at this one.
Yeah. No, the colors are amazing. Don't worry, we all got dogs. The colors are amazing on those. Those are actually all colors that were hand painted and designed. They're not hand painted on each frog, but they're hand painted and designed by an award-winning lure artist named Andrew Gardner. He's won all kinds of awards for his lure painting all over the country, and he actually works for American Bait Works now. So you can expect to see in all our American Bait Works lines you can expect to see some absolutely outstanding colors, and color patterns from this. I mean, we're doing everything we can do to really come out. The launch frog that you were particularly asking about, Jared, is actually a frog that has a tungsten weight system in it. And it's called the launch frog. Dude, here's when you cast it, here's what happens. You cast it and you say, "Bye, Felicia." Like, it's gone. Like, I'm exaggerating. You can cast, if you're throwing 65-pound braid, which is what I typically throw, until the other night that Cliff Crochet told me 80-pound braid makes a frog work way better and it's easier to pick backlashes out of. I can throw all the line off of it. And it makes the launch frog will make you a better frog fisherman because you're more accurate with it. So not only can you launch it further and cover more water with it, when you're doing short range target casting, it's not that, I mean, it's hollow, but it's not that like mess of crap that you're trying to like, skip under a boat dock or skip under an overhanging limb or whatever. It's got that tungsten weight system in it, and it casts like a jig. It's like it makes everything so much better. But anyway, we don't need to get too.
I'd never heard about it until you said that.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, so get this. I know you're a big Tackle Warehouse guy. If I lived as close as you do to Tackle Warehouse, I'd be at Tackle Warehouse. I saw. Didn't you take the guys at Tackle Warehouse the other day? Didn't you take them some food or something, or what did you take?
We brought. Well, I brought them donuts. Some of the staff there, and then the next week we barbecued 800 hot dogs for them.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a fun day. You'd enjoy that day.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a big grill guy too. I know you do a lot of stuff on Traeger. I used to be sponsored by a company called Holland Grill. I'm not with them anymore, but I still cook on their grills all the time. So that's pretty awesome. Let's hit a couple more of these comments, and then we're gonna have to get to your 2 truths and a lie here real quick.
Okay.
But Shinichi says, "I'm for Freedom Lure, very good. Looks like a jig head for a swim jig. What do you think it compares with yours with Japanese brands?"
Man,
you probably know more about Japanese brands than I do. I know Evergreen and some of the big Japanese brands, but like I don't know all the little stuff. Sure, if you want to check out Swing Head Technology, man, we're right here. So
yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
Here's Ken says, "JT, have you ever pulled a Bobby Lane with a halo when you don't win?" He's breaking it over his knee. The answer is yes. I have broken a halo over my knee before. No fault of the halo, by the way. It was the big Sasquatch of a man being pissed off and broke it over my knee. Ken, the answer is yes. Bill says, hey, love my halo fishing rods and great customer service. Bill, we appreciate that. We changed a lot of stuff around in the halo line, and customer service was one of them. And we are happy that you are happy. Trust me, that makes us all feel really good. Brian says, with this lockdown in place, I don't think there's too many states where it is anymore, but there must be a few. It's nice to have all of the MLF events on DVR to watch. Well, that's awesome. We're happy you're watching them. And guess what, Brian? We're going to bring you a whole bunch more because we are going fishing next week. Thank goodness. Skip says the new scum frogs. He loves them. That's awesome. Skip also hit us with ABW rocks. We appreciate that, Skip. All right, so we're just about going to wrap it up here. We're going to do 2 truths and a lie with Jared. Let me get my pen out. I want to write down your answers. I always like guessing too, even though I can't win. So I'm sure you probably thought about it a little bit, Jared, or maybe you didn't. I think when you don't, it's even better. I've always been kind of shoot from the hip kind of guy, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, sure.
So let's I'm gonna go through one more time. Awesome prize pack. Gonna have a lot of Freedom stuff in it. Gonna have a Halo rod, t-shirt, hat, PM, whatever site you're watching. ABW pro staff can't win, Jared Linter, my West Coast brother, hit us. We want 2 things that are true, 1 thing that's a lie. First person that comments in, once he's done telling them all, nobody starts throwing in number 2 right now because I'm not going to pay any attention to you. I tell it how it is. This is like a press conference at the White House. I tell it how it is. So whenever he's done, go ahead and start. Jared, give us 2 truths and a lie.
Okay. First truth was growing up, and even until I was 19, I thought for sure that I would be playing in the National Basketball Association. That was my goal, and I was on the right track.
All right. So your first one, 2 of them are going to be true. 1 of them is going to be a lie. He's going to act like they're all true, and then we'll figure out which one is a lie. Is on the road to the NBA.
Okay. So my first official sponsor was Tackle Warehouse. I mean.
All right. First.
Yep.
Sponsor.
Yes, sir.
I wonder how much money I've spent with them over the years. That's probably don't. I don't even want to know. Like you could. There's probably some way that you can go on your credit card statement and go back and.
No, my friend actually, my fishing partner here, he's like, dude, Tackle sent me like a thing at the end of the year because he won the U.S. Open, so he needed some tax write-off. So he asked him for a
right.
And he's like, I seriously have an issue. I'm like, dude, he told me how much. I'm like, you can buy a palace in Alabama for what you just spent at Tackle in 1 year.
Right? Oh,
crazy. Okay. And
one more.
So everybody knows I like the Traeger, and my wife Carrie makes better food on the Traeger than me.
All right. So Carrie is better on the pellet grill. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. Well, first I'm going to tell you something, okay? And then I'm going to ask you if you've ever done the same thing. So this is not 2 truths and a lie while we're waiting for some answers to come in.
Yeah.
This is true. It's like 2 nights ago. So I'm out there. I don't even remember what I was cooking. Something. I cook on my pellet grill 4 nights a week. You know, when I'm home, like at least 4 nights a week. Like I do it all the time. But I went out there, got the food off, and like I said, I don't even remember. I think I was cooking chicken thighs or something. Got the food off, and for some reason, the one I use has just a little dial on it. You know, you turn it to just whatever temperature you want it.
Yep.
And it holds at that temperature, and then when you're done, you turn it back to 0, and it fans itself down for like 10 minutes and shuts itself off. It's beautiful. It's one of the greatest things I think man's ever created. For some reason, I turned it the other way.
It's probably because what's in your cup right now is what I'm guessing.
I don't think there was enough to make. But like I'll make excuses for anything. But so anyway, so I turned it the other way. So I'm in the house. And I look outside and I'm like, there's a lot of smoke out there. I go out. And dude, the little thing on the side has melted off. Like it's hot. I don't know how hot it was. Like it was just. So I tried to turn it down. I kept trying to burp it without letting it, catch on fire. Oh, it was crazy. But anyway, finally it did get calmed down, and it's fine. I cleaned all the ashes out of it and got it and fired it, cooked on it last night. So, you ever done anything like that?
One time I didn't clean my Traeger for a while, and I thought I was going to be smart and cook some bacon and to get it ready to go for the next morning because we were having a bunch of people over for breakfast. And of course, it was one of those evenings where your buddies are over and you get to talking out in the garage with fishing tackle.
Yeah.
And I got a text. It must have been from one of my friends driving by, and it's like, dude, what are you doing at your house? Is your house burning down? I'm like, oh. I run out there, and the thing is just, yeah. And that was my fault. I hadn't cleaned it in a while, and I put like 3 pounds of bacon on there on like 450. You're gonna have a problem.
Been there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do this thing. Let's do this 2 truths and a lie. So your number one. And remember, we're looking for the lie here. The number one, you were on the road to the NBA. Number two, your first real big sponsor was Tackle Warehouse. And number three, your wife Carrie is better on your pellet grill than you are. So, all right, tell us which one, number one, number two, or number three is the lie.
So my first big sponsor was actually P-Line.
Oh, 10-4.
So my first sponsor being Tackle Warehouse was actually a lie.
You got you got me, because I thought, I don't know where I had this in my head. Might have been something Marty Stone told me, but I thought you were on your way on the road to Major League Baseball, not basketball.
Oh,
I got that from Marty. So
well, Marty's crazy anyway. He sabotaged you.
I sit beside him all the time. Trust me, I know. So number two was the lie.
Yes.
And I must say this. Shinichi was the first one to say number two, but I was watching and you weren't done talking yet. So, and I just specifically said, everybody heard me say that until Jared's done talking, that we're not taking any guesses. So, David Lee Turvin, you picked correctly, which I would have been wrong as whatever wrong can be. You picked correctly, and you, David, are the winner of the American Baitworks prize pack. Whatever site you're watching from, buddy, just go do a personal message to that site, shirt size, address, and phone number. And man, within a day or two, we are going to have an American Baitworks prize pack. It'll be mostly Freedom swing head technology stuff, like we talked about for like half the show tonight. It'll be mostly swing head technology stuff. From me, I appreciate everybody coming down. Jared, I appreciate you being here so much. I know you can't wait to get back to competition. I can't wait to get back behind that desk and talk about you guys for 5 or 6 days. Thanks everybody for watching. That'll be our show for tonight. Next Tuesday, we're going to have Dustin Cannell. MLF Pro Dustin Cannell is going to be on the show, and we will have another American Baitworks prize pack. We're signing off. Jared, thanks so much, buddy, for being here. I appreciate everything, and I will probably be talking to you on the phone about some MLF stuff pretty soon.
Let's do it, man. I'm excited.
Thanks, buddy.
See you, man.